Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, ruled the most powerful and sprawling empire in the world. Yet, despite his immense external power and unshakable authority, he wrote privately to remind himself of things most people are simply too afraid to say out loud. He wasn't interested in flattery, the trappings of luxury, or the convenience of lies. His journal, now known as Meditations, was a raw, honest, and direct record of truths he needed to survive his most difficult days. It was never meant to be published. It was a personal crucible for his soul. It was written by a man who carried the burdens of war, the profound weight of loss, the complexities of power, and the crushing responsibility for millions of lives. And still he chose to hold himself to the highest possible standard. He believed that truth was not something to hide behind, but a foundational pillar to live by every single day. So in this comprehensive video transcript, we will walk through 25 of his most direct and unfiltered lessons. These are not just abstract theories, but powerful reminders designed for real-world application. They are meant to be applied in the harsh, undeniable reality of daily life, designed to be our personal guide through the tumult. These are the truths that steadied the mind of a philosopher king, and they can absolutely do the same for you, serving as a powerful anchor in a world of chaos. Let's delve into the core principles that will fundamentally transform your perspective and your purpose. 1. People will disappoint you. Marcus begins Meditations by reminding himself what kind of people he would meet each day, preparing his mind for the inevitable. He lists them plainly: the rude, the selfish, the greedy, the jealous, the dishonest. This was not a surrender to pessimism, nor was it a cynical outlook. It was a strategy for preparation. Expecting people to act against reason protects your inner stability. You don't need to be angry when they behave exactly as you anticipated. He knew that starting each day with this stark, honest awareness made him less vulnerable to the emotional whiplash of their actions. If someone lied to him, if someone insulted him, it would not come as a shock. It would simply be a confirmation of what he already prepared for, a predictable human flaw, nothing more. Stoicism teaches that when we anticipate hardship, we give ourselves a chance to meet it with strength. So too with people. When you drop the expectation that people will always act fairly or wisely, you stop taking their failures personally. It becomes infinitely easier to stay calm. It becomes easier to stay true to your principles. To live peacefully, you must actively drop your illusions about others. If you assume people will always act with justice, with wisdom, or with compassion, you will be continually upset. But when you accept that irrationality is common, you move through the world with greater composure. You adjust your expectations to the reality of the situation, the reality of human nature itself. You prepare yourself internally instead of trying to reshape the behavior of others, a futile effort. This does not mean you tolerate wrongdoing, but it means you do not let it dominate your mind. You continue to hold your standard regardless of whether others fall short of theirs. This mindset allows you to lead without bitterness. It allows you to love others without being disillusioned by their flaws. You focus on your own behavior, your own reactions, your own contribution. The Stoic path is not about judging others. It is about strengthening yourself so that the world's inherent disorder does not become your disorder. 2. People don't change much. This is a profound truth Marcus returned to often. The frustrations Marcus described nearly 2,000 years ago are the same frustrations we face today. He wrote about liars, braggarts, flatterers, the selfish, and the unjust. These were not rare personalities. They were daily companions. This repetition across centuries reveals something fundamental. Human nature does not shift quickly. The problems we deal with are not new. They are recurring patterns in a familiar drama. We often look at the state of the world with a kind of disbelief. Why is there still greed? Why is there still betrayal, cruelty, and indifference? But the Stoic does not ask why the world hasn't changed. The Stoic expects these things. Marcus advises himself not to hope for Plato's Republic, a society governed entirely by reason and justice. That is not the world we live in. It never was. It likely never will be. To accept this is not to give up. It is to see clearly. It is to train your expectations to match reality. When you stop being surprised by selfishness or dishonesty, You reclaim your emotional balance. You stop feeling so wounded by every disappointment. Instead of shock, you bring a profound steadiness. Instead of despair, you bring reason. This clarity allows you to contribute meaningfully. You act where you can, you hold your standard. You resist corruption in yourself. You make your influence felt through consistent virtue, not through grand illusion. And you let go of the fantasy that everyone else will suddenly become wise. People don't change much. That's not a reason to become bitter. It's a profound reason to become grounded. If the world won't improve overnight, then your job is to live well within it, to be the kind of person you hope the world could be filled with. 3. You can do harm by doing nothing. A failure to act, Marcus reminds himself, is still a decision. He reminds himself that injustice is not just doing something wrong, it's also allowing wrong to be done. To witness harm and choose an action is to become complicit in that harm. It is not enough to simply avoid committing injustice directly. One must also strive to prevent it when possible. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Often injustice lies in what you aren't doing, not only in what you are doing." This reminder forces a deeper examination of personal responsibility. It pushes us to reflect not just on our visible actions, but on our quiet hesitations. What have you allowed to flourish by looking the other way? What wrongs continue simply because you chose comfort over confrontation? Philosophy, Marcus believed, must not remain theoretical. It must live in your choices. Inaction is a choice, and often it is the one that causes the most lasting damage. To live rightly, you must see a failure to act as a moral failure equal to direct wrongdoing. The person who watches cruelty and remains still. The one who hears a lie and does not correct it. The one who witnesses injustice and simply walks past it. Each is reinforcing the very thing they claim to oppose. Courage is not measured only by dramatic action. It is measured by the small daily decisions to not remain indifferent. The Stoic does not just avoid evil, they resist it wherever it appears. If you have the ability to help, to speak up, to intervene, and you choose silence, you are participating in the harm. You are creating space for it to grow. This principle applies to moments both personal and systemic. The world does not just degrade through malicious intent. It decays through widespread apathy. In either case, the Stoic understands that morality does not only live in intention, but in the courage to act. A noble mind without noble action is an unfinished life. To avoid responsibility because it is difficult or because it invites discomfort is to abandon the very values you claim to uphold. Stoicism is not passive. It demands action rooted in virtue. It insists that philosophy becomes real through what you do, not what you believe in private. When injustice appears and you say it's not my problem, you are deciding to let it continue. You are reinforcing harm by absence of intervention. You are responsible for what you permit. You are accountable for what you ignore. You cannot call yourself virtuous if you retreat into comfort when conscience calls. Virtue for the Stoics was a matter of will and work. You must be willing to stand firm even when it costs you ease, reputation, or safety. Moral clarity must outweigh convenience. To be good in thought is not enough. You must be good in action, even when it's difficult, especially when it's difficult. 4. Don't argue about virtue. Live it. Marcus Aurelius didn't spend much time debating what it meant to be good. He believed those conversations, while sometimes useful, often became distractions. Instead of theorizing about ethics, he urged himself to live them. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be, he wrote. Be one. Philosophy for the Stoic is a matter of action. It isn't about winning debates or impressing others with clever words. It is about aligning your choices with your values. You don't need to talk endlessly about kindness if you are practicing it. You don't need to explain justice if your life demonstrates it. The truth is found in the way you live. There is nothing wrong with study or reflection. But the Stoic sees these as means to an end. The end being action. If your understanding of virtue never shows up in how you speak, how you treat others, how you make decisions, then it hasn't taken root. The mark of a philosopher is not complexity, it is consistency. Living your philosophy gives it weight. It becomes a quiet presence in your relationships, your work, your routines. You no longer have to convince others you believe in something. They can see it. They can feel it. A person who lives with integrity carries an influence that words alone can never match. So focus less on describing the ideal and more on embodying it. That is the Stoic way to show not tell, to do not declare, to build a life so clearly rooted in principle that it becomes a model, not through noise but through example. 5. Let the work speak. This is the ultimate expression of living your virtue. Marcus Aurelius believed that the most powerful message you could deliver was the life you lived. Not your speeches, not your posts, not your titles, but your conduct, your daily habits, your consistency. He wrote, "Don't waste time talking about what a good person is. Be one." The Stoic does not seek praise, the Stoic seeks alignment. When you are truly living in accordance with your values, you don't have to announce it. The proof is in how you carry yourself, the way you treat others, the way you respond under pressure, the discipline with which you face your responsibilities. It is a quiet power, a lasting one, and it leaves an impression deeper than any words could reach. Letting the work speak is an act of humility. It means you are not chasing approval. You are not manipulating your image. You are not measuring your worth by how loudly others applaud. You are focused on the craft of being consistent, of showing up fully, of letting excellence, effort, and integrity make the case for who you are. This is not to say that recognition is meaningless, but it is not the goal. The Stoic understands that applause fades, opinions change. What remains is what you did, how you did it, and who you became in the process. The work is the anchor. The work is the testimony. Let it speak. Each day is a canvas. Each decision a stroke of character. You are building something, a legacy not of noise, but of substance. So stay focused, stay honest, stay faithful to the quiet path. Let the work show the world what you stand for. 6. Most of what you do doesn't matter. Marcus wrote often about focusing on the essential. He urges himself to strip away everything that doesn't serve the greater purpose. He asks, is this necessary? If the answer is no, it doesn't belong in his day, his life, or his mind. This kind of brutal questioning is meant to bring every single action under review. Every meeting, every conversation, every obligation must pass through that unflinching filter. Without this constant self-evaluation, the day fills up with the demands of other people, the chaotic noise of the world, and the silent inertia of habit. When you stop to truly evaluate the necessity of your choices, you begin to realize just how much time you have been giving away. You realize how many tasks feel urgent, but are truly unimportant. How many commitments have become routine, not because they matter, but because they've gone unquestioned. Marcus saw that the cost of excess is not just in time, but in clarity, energy, and inner peace. Distractions accumulate and dilute your efforts. They clutter your attention and erode your sense of purpose. The more time you give to what is trivial, the less you have for what is vital, what truly matters to you. And what is vital, Marcus believed, was often quiet and small. Reflection, kindness, duty, reason. These are the things that build a life of substance. Simplify your life, cut the excess, keep what serves your principles. This is not only a strategy for productivity, it is a powerful method for living with integrity. By removing what is unnecessary, you create space for excellence. You create the capacity to act fully, to listen closely, and to think deeply. This is how you free your time and sharpen your impact. And this is how you begin to live not just effectively, but deliberately, with intention and foresight. 7. Anger is useless. Marcus quotes a lost playwright who asked, "Why be angry at the world as if the world would notice? Your rage changes nothing. The universe is indifferent to your frustration. Being angry at the rain doesn't stop the storm. It doesn't affect the outcome. It doesn't move the sky. All it does is deepen your discomfort and shorten your temper. Anger creates distance between you and reason. It strips you of your ability to assess clearly. It disguises itself as strength, but underneath it is only fragility, a profound failure to master the self. Marcus saw anger not as a valid response, but as a profound weakness. He recognized that it rises quickly, blinds swiftly, and leaves regret in its place. Whether it explodes outward or simmers beneath the surface, it corrodes the mind and strains the soul. Anger wastes your energy and clouds your mind. It hijacks your attention and narrows your perception. You no longer respond to what is in front of you. You react to the story your emotion has told you. And that story is almost always distorted, exaggerated, or false. Anger solves no problem. It teaches nothing. It only weakens you. It makes you impulsive when you need patience. It makes you loud when you need clarity. Let it go, not out of kindness to others, but out of discipline for yourself. Because you deserve a mind that remains your own even under pressure. Because your clarity is more valuable than your outrage. The Stoic sees anger not as righteous fire, but as smoke, a signal that the mind has lost its grip. To extinguish it is to reclaim complete control. 8. Anxiety comes from you. The Stoics taught that it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them, the narratives we choose to create. Marcus understood that when he was anxious, he was not reacting to reality. He was reacting to his interpretation of it. The mind left unchecked tends to wander into hypothetical disasters. It turns simple situations into exaggerated threats. This spiral is not caused by the event itself, but by how we choose to view it. He writes about seeing a sick child and catching himself imagining the worst. His mind began to race toward the possibility of death, of tragedies, of loss. But he caught the thought midstream and reminded himself, the child is sick. That is what is, that's the fact. Everything else is projection, a story we tell ourselves. The stories added by fear are not the truth. They are fantasies created by an untamed mind. Marcus trained himself to resist this kind of mental overreach. He believed the mind must be reined in, disciplined, and focused. Keep your attention on the present. That is where action exists. That is where peace lives. The future is not real yet. The past is already over. Worry is often nothing more than imagination misused. Train your mind to respond to what is, not what might be. This takes tremendous effort. It takes constant awareness. You must catch yourself in the act of panicking, of extrapolating, of catastrophizing, and return to clarity. What exactly is happening right now? What is required of me here? Once you answer that, you regain control. You step back into the role of a rational actor. This is how the Stoic faces uncertainty, not by denying fear, but by refusing to be governed by it. 9. Misfortune is an opportunity. Marcus says, not only is it not unfortunate that this happened, it is fortunate. Why? Because it gives you the chance to practice virtue. When you face hardship, you are being called to respond with strength, patience, and wisdom. These challenges are not to be wished away, but embraced as part of the training ground of life. Each difficulty is an invitation to live out the philosophy you claim to believe in. Adversity makes your values visible. It's easy to speak of courage when everything is calm, but it is only when you are tested, when you are put under pressure, when plans collapse, when people betray you that the reality of your philosophy is revealed. The hardship you encounter becomes the weight that strengthens your ethical muscles. Without it, your virtue remains theoretical. Misfortune is the moment where philosophy is tested. It strips away comfort and exposes what you truly believe. It challenges your composure, your discipline, your sense of justice, and it gives you a chance to rise to that challenge. The obstacle is not only to be endured, it is to be used. Stoicism is a tool for transformation. When life throws you into chaos, it is precisely then that your training begins. You take what comes and you turn it into character. You meet pain with presence. You meet loss with perspective. It is not enough to believe in Stoicism when life is easy. You must embody it when life is hard. That is where your character is forged. That is where wisdom is earned, not in comfort, but in difficulty. These are the moments that define you, not because of what happened, but because of how you chose to meet it. 10. You are the obstacle. When confronted by difficulty, Marcus never wasted time blaming fate, fortune, or other people. Instead, he returned again and again to the core insight. The obstacle is not the problem. You are the problem. Your judgments, your resistance, your assumptions, these are the real barriers. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." These words were not abstract philosophy. They were daily practice. Obstacles are not just barriers. They are the raw material of virtue. Every difficulty is a chance to display courage. Every delay, a call for patience. Every insult, a challenge to maintain dignity. The Stoic learns to stop viewing setbacks as interruptions and starts treating them as the work itself. This mindset turns frustration into purpose and disappointment into discipline. Marcus believed that it was our orientation toward events, not the events themselves, that determined our suffering or strength. To see an obstacle and despair is to waste it. To see it and transform it is to grow. This does not mean pretending something is good when it's not. It means seeing clearly that what blocks the path also creates a new one. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" the Stoic asks, "What can I do with this?" That shift is power. It removes the illusion of helplessness. It reconnects you to agency. Life will give you pain, loss, and change, but it will also give you the chance to respond to each of those things with reason, grit, and grace. You are the obstacle when you resist reality. You are the obstacle when you cling to how things should be. But when you engage with what is fully, intelligently, courageously, you turn the challenge into your training ground. This is how obstacles become the way. 11. Your thoughts shape your reality. Marcus Aurelius reminds us again and again that the mind is the shaping force of life. He wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This observation wasn't poetic exaggeration. It was a fundamental Stoic principle. What you think repeatedly becomes the lens through which you view the world. That lens shapes how you respond, how you feel, and what kind of life you build. If your thoughts are constantly focused on fear, on resentment, on envy or anger, then your world will reflect those things back to you. You will see threat where there is neutrality. You will assume betrayal where there is confusion. You will interpret challenge as failure. And so your experience of life becomes distorted, darkened by what you've chosen to dwell on. But the Stoic knows that the mind can be trained, it can be cleared, it can be brought back under discipline. You can begin to notice what kinds of thoughts occupy your attention. You can question them. You can replace them. You can shift from unhelpful stories to empowering realities. This is not optimism. It is awareness. You are not ignoring reality. You are refining how you meet it. And by refining your thoughts, you refine your choices. You become less reactive, more composed, more effective. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Choose the colors with care. A Stoic does not aim to suppress thought, but to clarify it, to use it with intention, to build a mind that serves virtue, not anxiety, that seeks solutions, not problems, that finds peace, not panic. The way you think becomes the way you live. That is the power of philosophy and action. 12. Stop seeking approval. Even as the most powerful man in the world, Marcus Aurelius struggled with the primal need for approval. He saw this tendency in himself and worked hard to separate his sense of worth from the praise or criticism of others. He wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This observation cuts to the core of human contradiction. We value our own lives more than anything else. Yet we hand over our self-esteem to others as if their opinion defines us. The Stoic rejects this. Approval from others cannot be the source of your confidence. It cannot determine whether you are doing well or poorly. Marcus reminds himself to evaluate who these people are, those whose praise he craves. What do they value? Are they wise? Are they just? Often the answer is no. And once you see that clearly, the spell is broken. You realize that craving their approval is no different than chasing shadows. Your judgment built on reason, principle, and experience must guide you. That is the only reliable compass. If you have acted justly, if you have spoken with truth, if you have served your role with integrity, then the work is done. Whether anyone notices or applauds it is irrelevant. You are not performing for an audience. You are practicing a way of life. The Stoic trains himself to let go of the need for recognition. Praise is nice, but it is not necessary. Criticism stings, but it is not fatal. What matters is that you are doing what you believe to be right. Stand firmly in your own approval, and the rest becomes noise. 13. You care more about others' opinions than your own. Marcus saw clearly that people often give more weight to the opinions of strangers than to the quiet judgment of their own conscience. He asked why we place our peace in the hands of others, especially when those others might be misinformed, careless, or unwise. The contradiction is striking. We live with ourselves every day. We know our intentions, our struggles, our reasoning, and yet we let external voices carry more authority than our own reasoned reflection. He pointed out that people fear criticism more than they fear wrongdoing. They avoid judgment from the crowd more urgently than they avoid betraying their own values. To the Stoic, this is a dangerous reversal. If your compass is set by others, you will be pulled in every direction. Your actions will lack consistency. Your integrity will become unstable. The solution Marcus offers is to develop inner independence, to build your identity on what you know to be true, not what others say. This does not mean you become arrogant or closed to feedback. It means that the ultimate test of your decisions is not popularity, but principle. Can you look yourself in the mirror and say you acted with honesty, courage, and justice? If yes, that is enough. The judgment of others will always shift. Sometimes they will admire you for the wrong reasons. Sometimes they will hate you for the right ones. Either way, your job is to stay anchored. You are with yourself from your first breath to your last. Your relationship with yourself is the only one that lasts your entire life. Treat it as sacred. Live by your reasoned convictions. Let external noise be just that, noise. Build a life that is answerable not to gossip or trends, but to your deeper sense of what is right. 14. Accept change completely. Marcus Aurelius was no stranger to change. He lived through wars, plagues, personal losses, and the constant uncertainty of ruling an empire. But instead of resisting change, he studied it. He accepted it as a law of nature. Everything in life, he wrote, is in motion. Nothing is stable. The river flows forward whether you're ready or not. Change for the Stoic is not something to be feared or resented. It is something to be embraced. Marcus wrote, "Observe constantly that all things take place by change." He saw this as both truth and liberation. When you accept that nothing stays the same, you begin to let go of the need to control everything. You stop expecting permanence. You start adapting with intelligence and calm. Most suffering comes not from change itself, but from clinging to what is no longer real. We try to hold on to our status, our youth, our routines, our expectations of how things should be. But life doesn't cooperate with those demands. It unfolds according to its own rhythm. The Stoic learns to move with it, not by drifting aimlessly, but by adjusting thoughtfully, remaining anchored to principle even as the circumstances shift. Change is not your enemy. It is your environment. It is the material through which you grow. Every change is a new context for practicing your values, patience in delay, courage in loss, discipline in uncertainty. Marcus knew this and he didn't run from it. He accepted the impermanence of all things and through that found peace. You were born into a world of change. You will live in it until your final breath. So make peace with transition, accept it fully and use it wisely. 15. You could die at any moment. Marcus Aurelius never shied away from mortality. He looked at death not with fear, but with urgency. It was a constant reminder to be present, to act now and to live with purpose. You could leave life right now, he wrote. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This wasn't meant to create panic. It was meant to eliminate hesitation. Death is not an interruption. It is the frame that gives life its urgency. Everything we do is set against the backdrop of impermanence. No one knows how much time they have left, hours, months, or years. And that uncertainty is not a curse. It is the motivation to make each choice count. We waste time as if we will live forever. We delay conversations. We postpone projects. We wait to speak truth. But Marcus reminds us, you are not promised tomorrow. You are not even promised this afternoon. So what are you doing with the time that is yours right now? Are you living in alignment with your values? Are you spending your hours as if they matter? Memento mori, remember death. It is one of the most powerful Stoic tools. Not to make life darker, but to make it brighter, to sharpen your awareness, to strip away the petty. When you remember you are mortal, everything small begins to fade. What remains are the essentials: kindness, courage, honesty, purpose. Let death be your teacher, not your enemy. Let it remind you to say what needs to be said, to act with urgency, not anxiety, to be sincere rather than strategic. Let it return you to this moment over and over until you are living as if time actually matters, because it does. 16. Focus on your own faults. Marcus Aurelius wrote clearly and repeatedly about the futility of criticizing others. He believed it was a waste of time and energy to fixate on the flaws of the people around us. Instead, he turned his gaze inward. He wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." This was not about self-condemnation. It was about responsibility. It is easy to notice when others fall short, but that instinct distracts you from the work that matters most, your own improvement. You cannot control whether someone else lies, gossips, or acts with ignorance, but you can control whether you respond with patience, honesty, and reason. That's where your power is. The Stoic path requires daily self-examination. Not to shame yourself, but to refine your behavior. What did I say today that was unnecessary? Where did I act without reason? Where did I miss the chance to show kindness or courage? These are the kinds of questions Marcus asked himself, not to tear himself down, but to rise to the standard he believed in. You don't become stronger by proving others wrong. You become stronger by working on what's within you. That is where philosophy becomes real. Not in debate, but in discipline. Not in calling out faults, but in correcting them quietly, consistently within yourself. So when you're tempted to gossip, judge, or dwell on someone else's behavior, pause. Redirect that energy. Ask yourself what you can do better today than you did yesterday. That is the Stoic commitment, self-mastery, not self-righteousness. That is how you walk the path of virtue, one step at a time. 17. Don't argue about virtue, live it. Marcus Aurelius didn't spend much time debating what it meant to be good. He believed those conversations, while sometimes useful, often became distractions. Instead of theorizing about ethics, he urged himself to live them. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be, he wrote. Be one. Philosophy for the Stoic is a matter of action. It isn't about winning debates or impressing others with clever words. It is about aligning your choices with your values. You don't need to talk endlessly about kindness if you are practicing it. You don't need to explain justice if your life demonstrates it. The truth is found in the way you live. There is nothing wrong with study or reflection, but the Stoic sees these as means to an end, the end being action. If your understanding of virtue never shows up in how you speak, how you treat others, how you make decisions, then it hasn't taken root. The mark of a philosopher is not complexity, it is consistency. Living your philosophy gives it weight. It becomes a quiet presence in your relationships, your work, your routines. You no longer have to convince others you believe in something. They can see it, they can feel it. A person who lives with integrity carries an influence that words alone can never match. So focus less on describing the ideal and more on embodying it. That is the Stoic way to show, not tell, to do, not declare. To build a life so clearly rooted in principle that it becomes a model, not through noise, but through example. 18. Keep the standard, especially when it's hard. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that his actions must be consistent with his values, no matter how difficult the day, no matter how unfair the circumstances. He understood that it's easy to be disciplined when things go your way. The real test of character is when they don't, when you're tired, frustrated, or wronged. That's when your philosophy is either real or not. To be Stoic is to commit to the standard at all times. You don't get to drop your principles because someone else failed to live by theirs. You don't lower your bar because the world is chaotic. Marcus believed that each person must carry themselves with integrity regardless of what others are doing. Your role isn't to mirror your environment. It's to hold fast to what is right. This means being calm when others are angry, being honest when lying would be easier, showing up when others flake, doing the work even when no one's watching. Your standard doesn't fluctuate with your mood. It doesn't depend on the weather or the headlines. It is steady, anchored by principle. The Stoic trains for this through daily reflection. Each evening ask, did I stay true to myself today? Did I let my frustration control me? Did I honor the discipline I committed to? These questions are not for shame. They are tools for alignment. They bring your actions back to your intention. They keep you honest. Holding the line will not always feel rewarding in the moment. It will often feel lonely. It may cost you admiration or recognition, but it will earn you something deeper: self-respect. You will begin to trust yourself. You will begin to feel that your word means something even when no one else hears it. So when the world presses you to compromise, resist. When comfort tempts you to cut corners, resist. When anger urges you to lash out, resist. Keep the standard. Especially then, that's when it matters most. 19. You will be tired. Marcus Aurelius often had to remind himself to get out of bed. Even the emperor of Rome knew the temptation to stay in comfort when duty called. In one entry, he writes about how warm it feels under the blankets and how much easier it would be to stay there. But then he challenges himself. You weren't born for pleasure. You were born for action, for duty, for service. This was not self-punishment. It was a commitment to purpose. It was a declaration that meaning is not found in avoiding discomfort, but in answering the call of responsibility, no matter how inconvenient. Life is demanding. It asks for your attention, your patience, your energy, and some days it feels like more than you have to give. There are seasons when your body is sore, your mind is tired, and your spirit feels thin. But the Stoic does not use tiredness as an excuse to abandon their responsibilities. Fatigue is acknowledged, but it does not become a barrier to action. Rest is allowed, but it is never idolized. The goal is not to feel ready, but to be ready when it matters. You will be tired. You will want to quit. You will question whether the effort is worth it. But the discipline of showing up even when you're exhausted builds a kind of inner strength that rest alone cannot give. Marcus believed that people who love what they do are willing to wear themselves down doing it. Not recklessly, but willingly, because the work matters. Because living according to your principles matters. Because living without regret matters. There is a quiet nobility in carrying on when it would be easier to turn back. When you keep your commitments on the days you least feel like it, you strengthen your integrity. You remind yourself that your values are not based on mood or energy, but on a deeper sense of who you are striving to become. You learn to trust your ability to endure, and with each act of endurance, you gain confidence in your character. The Stoic isn't looking for comfort. They are looking for clarity, for excellence, for consistency in the face of chaos. And that comes through effort. If you're tired, rest, but don't forget why you began. Don't forget what you're building. Don't forget who you promised yourself you would become. Your resilience is not forged on easy days. It is formed in the moments when you push forward anyway, even if no one sees. Even if no one applauds, it is built in the quiet perseverance of doing the work because it is right. That is where dignity lives. That is where philosophy becomes action. 20. It's going to take more out of you than you think. Marcus Aurelius never told himself life would be easy. In fact, he expected the opposite. He prepared his mind each morning for resistance, for struggle, for setbacks. He knew that to live by principle in a chaotic world would require more than occasional effort. It would take full commitment, mental, emotional, physical. In one passage, he reminds himself that people who do meaningful work wear themselves down doing it. Not carelessly, but deliberately because the effort is worthy. The pursuit of excellence costs something. It drains you, stretches you, humbles you. That's part of the path. Modern life often promises quick results and painless growth. But the Stoic path is ancient and demanding. It asks for more than slogans or surface habits. It asks for the reshaping of the self. It asks you to live in alignment with your values even when it hurts, even when it costs, even when you are alone in doing so. It's going to take more out of you than you think. More patience, more resilience, more honesty, more discipline, and more endurance than you believed you had. You will be misunderstood by those closest to you. You will be judged by people who don't understand your intentions. You will be tested by circumstances that feel unfair and exhausting. But every test is an opportunity to clarify who you are and what you stand for. Each moment of difficulty is a forge where character is formed, strengthened, and tested again. You will not always feel prepared. The work will sometimes feel thankless. The growth will come slower than you expect. But this is the process. This is the path. A Stoic knows that the way forward is rarely smooth. It is built on consistency through resistance. It is carved one decision at a time through the will to endure, to show up again, and to keep faith with what you know is right. The Stoic does not complain about the pieces. They prepare for it. They accept it. They remind themselves that their energy, their strength, their time, these are the raw materials from which a good life is shaped. They don't expect ease. They expect effort. They don't wait for things to get lighter before they act. They strengthen their shoulders instead. Nothing great is built in comfort. Nothing lasting is built in haste. Everything that matters will ask more from you than you first offered, more discipline, more sacrifice, more return to purpose. And if you stay the course, if you keep walking through the fire, you don't just endure it, you are changed by it. You become stronger, clearer, more capable of carrying what comes next. 21. Mind your own business. Marcus Aurelius understood that many of life's troubles come not from what happens to us, but from our meddling in matters that don't concern us. He wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." It's a simple rule, yet difficult to follow. The temptation to involve ourselves in other people's choices, mistakes, and business is as constant. But Stoicism teaches that peace lies in staying in your lane. We cannot control what others do. We cannot control how they think or behave. When we invest our attention in their flaws, we neglect our own development. When we dwell on their problems, we lose sight of our responsibilities. Marcus warned against this misplaced focus. He saw it as a drain on energy, a profound distraction from purpose. The Stoic mind is trained to ask, what is within my control? What is my duty here? If something does not fall under that category, it is to be observed but not absorbed. You can witness someone's bad behavior without internalizing it. You can see error without needing to correct it. Not everything needs your opinion. Not everything benefits from your involvement. This is not apathy, it is discipline. It is knowing the limits of your influence and guarding your attention. The Stoic is not indifferent to the world. They are simply anchored in their own responsibility first. They understand that the best way to improve the world is to improve oneself. So when you feel the pull to judge, comment, or intervene where you aren't needed, pause. Redirect that energy inward. Ask, how can I grow today? How can I serve more honorably? Your peace and your progress depend on it. 22nd, return to the work. Marcus Aurelius returned to his writing daily, not to impress anyone, but to remind himself of what mattered. He used his journal as a place to sharpen his thinking, discipline his impulses, and re-anchor his intentions. He knew that clarity does not stay with us by accident. It must be maintained. And the way we maintain it is by returning again and again to the work of self-examination. A Stoic does not graduate from the fundamentals. The mind drifts, the emotions swell, the pressures of the world weigh heavily. The antidote is to come back to what you know is true, to repeat the principles, to rehearse the values, to review your actions and measure them against your ideals. This is not obsession. It is maintenance. It is the craft of living. There will be days when you feel off course. There will be times when you lose your temper, abandon your discipline, or forget your responsibilities. Marcus did too. That is why he returned to the page. Not to shame himself, but to reorient, to recommit, to begin again. That's the work, to start fresh as many times as needed without resentment and without delay. This habit of return is what forms resilience. It creates a rhythm of accountability. It reminds you that progress is not linear and strength is not measured by how few times you fall, but by how quickly you come back. A Stoic life is not about avoiding failure. It is about recovering with purpose. The work of reflection, the discipline of return is not a luxury. It is the foundation. It is how you continue forward when motivation fades. It is how you refine your character one small adjustment at a time. Keep the journal close. Keep your intentions close. Keep returning, because the moment you forget, the moment you drift, those are the moments that shape your future. So write again, reflect again, return again. the work is never done. And that is exactly why it matters. 23. Let the work speak. Marcus Aurelius believed that the most powerful message you could deliver was the life you lived. Not your speeches, not your posts, not your titles, but your conduct, your daily habits, your consistency. He wrote, "Don't waste time talking about what a good person is. Be one." The Stoic does not seek praise. The Stoic seeks alignment. When you are truly living in accordance with your values, you don't have to announce it. The proof is in how you carry yourself, the way you treat others, the way you respond under pressure, the discipline with which you face your responsibilities. It is a quiet power, a lasting one, and it leaves an impression deeper than any words could reach. Letting the work speak is an act of humility. It means you are not chasing approval. You are not manipulating your image. You are not measuring your worth by how loudly others applaud. You are focused on the craft of being consistent, of showing up fully, of letting excellence, effort, and integrity make the case for who you are. This is not to say that recognition is meaningless, but it is not the goal. The Stoic understands that applause fades, opinions change. What remains is what you did, how you did it, and who you became in the process. The work is the anchor. The work is the testimony. Let it speak. Each day is a canvas. Each decision a stroke of character. You are building something, a legacy not of noise, but of substance. So stay focused, stay honest, stay faithful to the quiet path. Let the work show the world what you stand for. 24. The world doesn't care about your feelings. This is a profound extension of the idea that anger is useless. The universe is entirely indifferent to your personal frustration and sorrow. Marcus taught that you must rigorously separate your own emotional state from the external reality of events. The rain will fall whether you are angry or not. Your task is to respond with reason, not with emotion. The world simply is, and your goal is to accept its nature, finding your peace within that reality, not in a desperate attempt to change it. 25. The only true harm is self-inflicted. This is a core Stoic principle related to the dichotomy of control. We cannot be truly harmed by external events, only by our internal reaction to them. An insult, a loss, or a setback is not inherently bad. The harm comes when we choose to believe that it is bad and allow it to control our inner peace. The only one who can truly hurt you, who can truly undermine your character and your happiness, is yourself.